kind of, as he's working his way away, he snort wheezed at me. And I've never, like, I've used the snort wheeze before as a tactic to try and turn a buck, and I have turned bucks before, bringing them back in, but I've never just had one voluntarily do it in front of me on their own. So that was a first for me. It kind of caught me off guard. I was like, did he just do that? And then he kind of worked his way away, and just purely out of curiosity, because I wasn't going to shoot the deer, but I hit him with another snort wheeze just to see what he did, and it turned him around. Again, he was not aggressive. It was kind of weird, but turned him around. He came back in the area, kind of made a lap, and just walked away.
Oh, you got her, dude. She's down.
Let's go.
Dude, I just shot a deer of a lifetime.
Freaking smoked him.
One with nature, and if you're a believer, one with God.
Definitely gets your heart pumping. Boy, you are in trouble.
Fall Obsession Podcast.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another week of our Fall Obsession Podcast. We're happy to be back with you guys again after a short break. It is hunting season, and we are busy. And last week showed with us missing an episode, but we're back in the swing of things here. I'm on here with our company's vice president, Mr. Drew Tordick. Welcome back, Drew.
Hey, Sam. Thanks. Good to be back.
Oh yeah, always a good time, man. I mean, we're just running and gunning, man. I mean, that's what it feels like. At least it's one thing after another, and we got to the end of last week, and I was like, dang, we haven't even sat down and recorded. And I know you had a successful hunt that we'll talk a little bit about today, and I know Brendan and some of our other guys on staff, they've killed some monsters, and I've been hitting them all up trying to get everybody on the podcast and stuff, but everybody's in the woods, everybody's hunting, so you gotta knock one out when you can get it this time of year, kind of. So, but which is good though. That's what we're here for. We're here to hunt. So
yeah, we're here to hunt. To that point today, I was up at 4:30, and it's almost 10 o'clock now, and I've been hunting all day, and now we're doing podcasts. So
yeah, I was gonna say we're burning the midnight oil a little bit here, knocking one out, but good to be on here at least and kind of catch up a little bit. So
it is, but yeah, like you'd mentioned, I think everybody's in the woods, and even to that point, I think some of our listeners are in the woods and hopefully checking us out. Maybe one ear in their earbud and sitting out in the woods hunting. So.
Sitting out in the woods, or maybe you're driving to or from deer camp, whatever it might be. And certainly, if this is your first podcast that you guys are listening on that drive to or from camp, be sure that you fill your time with some of our other episodes, because we got a lot of great content on here, and our normal podcast schedule is every single Monday morning. So we're doing our best to bring you guys fresh content every single week. So I know recently we've had a lot of awesome stories and some big deer hitting the ground, and we've recapped a couple of those stories on our podcast. We had Kim on in our last episode, talk about her big deer. Our friend Kelly Cato talked about his pronghorn hunt that he had in Texas, actually. Really unique story. So both those are great episodes that you guys can go check out if you haven't. And I'm excited. Like I said, I got a list of people that I'm trying to get on here with plenty of stories yet to tell. So we got plenty of good content still in the works and coming this way. So, but man, like you just said, you were in a deer stand just a few hours ago. So yeah. What's your hunting season been like so far?
My season personally has been kind of, various ups and downs, but I guess that's hunting.
Yeah.
It's been sort of a rewarding experience seeing some friends put in some firsts of their own, and just being able to really experience being out in the woods in the fall. So It's a little bit warmer, and we've been battling some weather issues, but that's kind of dealing with the fall now, I guess.
Yeah. I know you got a little bit of meat in the freezer. You can post a picture of a buck hitting the dirt with a Rambo bike behind it that was courtesy of yourself. So you want to fill us in on that just a little bit?
Yeah. So I can't remember where I first saw those Rambos, but kind of decided instantly that I had to have one for myself, whether or not we had them as a sponsor. But So it just to note they're not a sponsor. It'd be awesome to have them as one, but they're not a sponsor at this time. I just decided that all-wheel drive fat tire bike was kind of what I needed to get into some areas that are difficult to hunt. Locally here in the metro, we've got a national wildlife refuge, and the access is currently allows the bikes. So you can take that e-bike and get pretty deep back into that national wildlife refuge and kind of get to some spots that people don't want to hike to.
Yeah.
And that was my goal in getting it. But man, I'll tell you what, having it in Montana and being able to ride out on the BLM and get back to the area that we had shot the deer and load it up and get it out, it was the easiest recovery I think I've ever done. I was kind of laughing and taking some video that we'll share later, but
yeah,
it was fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know you went with some other friends, and I know we're trying to maybe work something out in the future where we can kind of get a dynamic up there with some of those guys to talk about some of those experiences, and so we'll save more of those details for that time and place. But talking about that gear and that Rambo, though, it's kind of coincidence because you killed that buck, and give or take a few days, however it fell, around the same time, our field staffer Kim shot that big deer in Virginia, and she has a Rambo bike as well. And here Nick and I are down here in Texas tromping around to our stands, and I remember we saw each other not long after both those things happened. We're like, man, we got to get us some Rambo bikes down here. That would be freaking awesome to get around that place that we got. So
yeah, they are so stealthy. That electric motor in them is pretty quiet. Actually, one of the mornings that we were out in the mountains in Montana, just riding around and happened to look down and had ridden about 100 yards away from the elk herd, and was just sitting there watching all these bulls. And we were in a cow spike only area, so couldn't shoot the bulls, but it was pretty cool to sit and watch 8 bulls just right in the bottom there.
That's awesome, man.
All right, so it was rifle opener here in Minnesota today, but I know that it's also a rifle opener in Texas.
Yep.
I know you don't do a lot of rifle hunting yourself, but was anybody out at the Texas dirt property checking that out? And
yeah,
how's the season going down there?
So bow season, to kind of recap, and you mentioned just now Texas dirt. For listeners who may not be familiar with our YouTube series, we have a whitetail management series on this 800-acre property that we're managing down here in Texas. Basically, it's a blank slate. We're starting from square one, so you guys can go check out that series on our YouTube channel if you want to see all the good stuff that we're doing out there. But bow season, man, I had some really good encounters, some really good hunts. My season started off absolutely horrible because I went out there like the day before season open, and I just sat in my dad's stand that night because it's over a big area. You can see a lot, watch a lot of deer. And I just wanted to watch that first night before season open, so that's what I did. And I had my rangefinder with me, and I was ranging stuff just out of curiosity. Opening morning, I get in my bow stand, and my rangefinder is done. Just pooped out on me. Not battery, it's like done. And I'm like, this is my freaking luck. So I tried to make do. Again, new property, so there's only a couple places that I'm really, like, I know just off the top of my head from when I set it up what the ranges are. So I was limited to those and everything. Long story short, I sent my rangefinder off to Bushnell, not sponsored by Bushnell. It was out of warranty, but they hooked me up with a new one at a pretty heavily discounted price. I actually got it in yesterday, I think. Finally is when I got it. Since then, in the meantime, I have had a rangefinder. Nick was gracious and loaned me one of his. So, but the new one's pretty sweet. I'm going to do a review on it. I'm pretty happy with it. But a lot of good encounters, man. And I had one buck, and it'll be in an upcoming episode of our Texas Dirt series. I have all this on video. But I had a 10-point come 10 feet from my blind on me, and he stood there for probably 2 minutes and just stared at me in the blind, like just not even in a cautious state or not even in a situation where he was on alert. He just looked at me. And I think part of it too is, one, these deer are not very pressured, and two, my blind, the first, like during bow season, unfortunately, the cows got into it one time and tore it up. And we had a couple of really bad storms come through with some like 60, 70 mile per hour winds come through there. So my blind was just tumbling around the clearing, So all as to say, these deer had gotten used to seeing my blind in so many different shapes and sizes and forms and everything that I think that, standing 10 feet away from it, looking in at the guy sitting inside of it didn't even mean anything to him anymore. It was just another day with the ground blind, So, but he's a really nice deer. Y'all see in the video. Really, really good buck. I passed on him mainly just because he's a 4.5-year-old deer, and honestly, probably not that long ago on a different property, I would have shot him in a heartbeat. But I really want to save my buck tag for the rut here in Texas because I know the caliber of deer that are out there. We got 3 deer on trail cam for sure that we know for a fact are bigger than this buck in particular. And I at least want to give myself a reasonable shot at maybe taking one of those deer. So I decided to pass on this deer. My wife is actually hoping that she might get to shoot him. She actually hunted one time this year and had this same buck coming in on her, and the pig spooked him out of there. But so she's pretty set on maybe getting a crack at him, and I think it'd be a good deer for her. But passed on a few nice bucks. My dad's got a really big 8. Coming in at his stand, and I'm hoping that next week, which will only be a couple days after this episode airs, I'm hoping that my dad actually puts that deer on the ground. It would probably be one of my dad's best deer ever, if I'm being honest. Just a huge monster 8-point.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, he's a really, really pretty deer. So we'll see. A lot in store, like you said. Opening weekend, I'm kind of blowing smoke here, but opening weekend, Nick's dad did go out there and hunt. He's a rifle hunter. Nick and I primarily bow hunt. Nick kind of does, I don't know, rifle and bow, I believe. I'm more exclusively bow. Both of our dads rifle hunt. Nick's dad went out there. I think he texted us a little while ago. He said that he saw some deer, some does. I think his daughter tried to take a doe and her gun misfired on her or something like that. Didn't go off, so they're trying to get that issue corrected and get her back in the saddle for tomorrow. We also, and this probably won't be in our Texas Dirt series, but we had Nick's dad had our first encounter with poachers out there on this place. So, and again, we're dealing with a place that hadn't been hunted traditionally in so long that, not really many people have probably known for a long time what kind of human activity is really going out there. Having not been leased for a while, kind of opens the door for people to go out there kind of undetected and mess around, do whatever they want to do. So I think in the back of our minds, it was always just kind of a matter of time before we caught something like this on the property. So, definitely was mild for the situation that it was, and got it resolved pretty calmly. So nothing crazy, but definitely something that might not be at the top of your radar, on opening day. So kind of throws a wrench in things, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much our season so far. Like I said, my dad and I are heading out in a couple days. I think we're going to spend 3 or 4 days out there. And I don't know, maybe hopefully try to draw some blood. It's been kind of been a cat and mouse game up till now, and I'm ready for some success. So we'll see.
Yeah. No, you'd mentioned the hogs and seeing the hog. Is that something you guys are gonna shoot if you get the opportunity, or are you holding off until after deer season on those?
So we were trying to figure out, we're trying to gauge our population, and we still probably are gonna have a specific hog hunt, after deer season, I would imagine. But I think we're all on the same page at this point on if you see one, and you kind of make the judgment call in the moment, determining if it's gonna ruin your hunt or not if you take a crack at one. Me at my bow stand, if I got a pig coming in at my bow stand, I'm probably going to shoot it because more than likely there's not going to be many deer around that area at that moment in time. But like at my dad's place, if he can see so much area that if he sees a pig way out there, there's a good chance he can see deer somewhere else from the same point at the same time, you know. So it might not always be in his best interest to pop a pig during a deer hunt, you know. He might have to have a little more patience, but it just kind of depends. We need to limit the pig population, and because I mean, for those who aren't familiar with pigs, they do run the deer out of there. We've had, perfect example is that buck that was coming in on my wife, which will be, this will actually be in the next episode of Texas Dirt, but beautiful buck coming in. She grabbed her bow, she was pumped, she was ready, she was starting to get nervous, and he was working his way in, and then other side of the clearing, a big old pig just ran across real quick, and that was enough to turn that buck around. So that's what we're dealing with. If the pigs are coming in there, then, you know, it typically means the deer are not. So we want to change that.
Yeah.
So up there in Minnesota, are you seeing any kind of rutting activity yet?
Yeah, it kind of seems like the bucks are kind of getting into lockdown. Sort of a little bit more limited daytime movement, although that kind of varies by location. It's kind of right on that transition.
Yeah.
So where I was at today, there was kind of a lot of shooting right in the morning, but then nothing the rest of the day, which is kind of unusual, especially at sunset. I was expecting to hear more shots going off because the wind had kind of died down, and it seemed like it was good for it. But just no activity. And yeah, the bucks that I have seen have been in the really thick stuff, sitting really tight with those. So
yeah, we haven't down here. We haven't seen a whole lot. Young bucks have been on the move pretty hard, but I feel like we're starting to get that lockdown stage 2 with those big boys right now. So
yeah,
interested to see how things go. I did have an interesting encounter a couple weeks ago with one buck out there, actually the same 10 point that we're talking about. I've seen him several times at this point, but he was coming in, and he was not, like, he was very calm. Like, his behavior did not convey any kind of, you know, typical rut activity you might think. But then kind of as he's working his way away, he snort wheezed at me. And I've used the snort wheeze before as a tactic to try and turn a buck, and I have turned bucks before, bringing them back in, but I've never just had one voluntarily do it in front of me on their own, so that was a first for me. And it kind of caught me off guard. I was like, did he just do that? And then he kind of worked his way away, and just purely out of curiosity, because I wasn't going to shoot the deer, but I hit him with another snort wheeze just to see what he did, and it turned him around. Again, he was not aggressive. It was kind of weird, but turned him around. He came back in the area, kind of made a lap, and just walked away. I mean, it was interesting. I hadn't had a buck act quite like that before for me, so neat to see.
Yeah, it's always cool to see the deer behavior in the woods.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, man, we got as we already said, it's a busy time for all of us and everything, but we're still trying to get some stuff in the works here at Fall Obsession and keep some new and fresh stuff coming our way. We got an interesting opportunity, a really awesome opportunity coming up in December. Hasn't been announced yet. Actually, here in the next couple of days will probably be when the official announcement hits our social media pages and everything. But we're doing I don't know if giveaway is even the right term, but we're doing a veteran deer hunt down here in Texas. And this is something that our own pro staffer, Waylon Langford, has very graciously offered up and been willing to host down here in North Texas. Basically giving a veteran an opportunity to come down here, shoot a buck, shoot some pigs, and just enjoy some time in deer camp with us for a weekend. So I'm pretty stoked about that. All the details are going to be coming out here in the next couple days, like I said, on our pages, but we're basically, it's not so much a giveaway as it is an application process. So we're opening it up to anybody, any service member, who themselves, or if you have a loved one in your family or a close friend or somebody that you think deserves to to come on a hunt, you can nominate them for it, put them in for it, and either write us a little bit or send us a video if writing's not your thing, just about why a hunt like this would be special for them. And then at the end of the application period, we're going to review the applicants and select a winner to come join us in Texas here in mid-December for a whitetail hunt. So pretty excited to see this come together. And again, I'm appreciative of Waylon for being willing to offer this up. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a great thing that he stepped forward and offered this up. It's kind of an awesome opportunity for somebody to experience some Texas whitetail hunting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it can be very unique, and honestly, the area that he has up there and that he hunts, it's a very unique area in itself, but it's packed with some good deer. The hunt, and for the record, while we're talking about, the hunt is a free range whitetail hunt, so with that, there can't be any guarantees, but at the same time, we're definitely going to make the most of it and give our all-out effort to get him on a good deer. So, and hopefully that comes together. So, again, if you are a veteran or you know somebody that would enjoy this hunt, I encourage you guys to follow our pages here closely in the next couple days. If you're listening to this episode promptly after it was released, or if not, go check us out at fallobsession.com, and you can get more info, more details on there regarding how to apply. So, but this also, I mean, we've been involved in trying to get some stuff like this going on, and I know one thing that we haven't really followed up on a whole lot, and I know we were talking about before we were recording, but was the hunt. We actually did a podcast about it, was the NABS hunt that we were trying to put together in October.
So for those who don't know, that NABS hunt that we had for this fall planned for, what was it, Washington and Idaho,
Yeah.
Just due to various reasons, we had to postpone it. It's something where, NABS is a great organization. They're doing amazing things for some blind individuals, getting them into the sport, getting them back out into the woods if they've been in the woods before. So anybody who did donate, just know that your money's going to a great cause. It's going to be used for hunts in the future. After speaking with Lance, he made sure to let us know that, all the money that was donated is going to go directly to hunts in the future. But as far as this year's hunt with Fall Obsession, just for various reasons, sort of related to COVID, related to other challenges that we were facing, this year's hunt's not going to happen. But hopefully it's something that, something like that in the future, we can put that together and get some people out into the woods who haven't had that opportunity.
Yeah, we're hoping, like you said, for something in the future, and to be able to keep this thing alive and pushing. I know with the podcast with Lance, you heard his passion for not just for NABS and everything that they're doing over there, but also just for the event itself. So I'm hopeful that we can work something out for sure to be able to again capitalize on this opportunity, or an opportunity similar to this, to get guys out in the woods. And I mean that's what it's about. That's what the Texas hunt is about. Giving somebody an opportunity to get out there and hunt in an area, in a place, or even just hunting period where they might not be able to otherwise. So pretty awesome and stoked about that.
Yeah. And you know what? I think the timing works out in a really good way too, where if somebody wants to nominate one of their family members or somebody that they know and have it be a surprise for them, it'd work out to be sort of an early Christmas present and let them get out and sort of have that awesome surprise. So that's kind of why we opened it up to having other individuals be able to nominate people. I know originally we were talking about having it be a strict application process, but sort of open it up to have other people be able to nominate individuals if they think that's a great idea.
Yeah. So to give guys, again, if you're listening to this and you're interested, or somebody, like you said, that you want to nominate for it, to give you guys kind of an idea on the timeline, we are looking at a pretty quick timeline. Again, we're going to open this up and everything promptly after this episode, so early next week, which is the second week in November. We're going to run the application period for around a 2-week window. So that's going to bring it to around November 21st, 22nd, somewhere in there. And promptly, as soon as we close that, will be when we select a winner, and they'll be notified. But you guys, whoever that winner is, needs to be ready to hunt December 10th, 11th, and 12th here in Texas, because that's the dates of the event. So just to go ahead and give you guys a heads up on that. So again, we want to give guys as much notice and prep as we can. There's got to be time for guys to be able to apply, but at the same time, it's coming up quick, so you guys need time to plan. So try to give as much heads up as we can on that. So you got anything else?
Yeah. I got one more thing before we kind of wrap things up for the day. I don't know if they're a sponsor or a partner or what the actual official term is for them, but the Catch a Dream Foundation, I just wanted to touch on that briefly.
Yeah.
I think they're a great organization. I think we've been sharing some of the stuff, but man, those kids have been shooting some amazing elk and some really nice deer. It's awesome to see that stuff going down.
They've had one heck of a year for sure, and yeah, we're proud to promote their name and everything, and like you said, this year just they've been laying it down. They've been hammering it. It's pretty awesome to watch. So
yeah. So I guess I want to say congratulations to those kids, because that's one heck of a hunt to have to go on or get out there in the woods and be able to experience that the first time. And some of those kids are so young, I don't even realize or know if they realize how big of a trophy they just shot.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I think it's something they'll be able to enjoy for a little while. So
for sure. Yeah, and on that note too, if I mean, I know this is a pretty casual episode and kind of just catching up, a little hunting season talk, and kind of a mid-season meeting here, but if you guys are out there in the woods and you got a big deer on the ground, you got a memorable moment or anything like that, share it with us. We're happy to share that moment with you guys, to even if it works with us to put it on our pages. We're happy to do that. If you have that memorable moment, either for you, with a kid, your biggest deer ever, whatever it might be, first deer, whatever, share it with us. We're happy to, like I said, we want to share that moment with you guys. So you guys can find us on social media, Fall Obsession, @Fall Obsession on Instagram, or YouTube channel. We got them all plugged up and running. So be sure you go check us out. But too, that's how you guys can get a hold of us and share that stuff with us if you want. So, well, man, this is a short and sweet episode for sure. And like you already disclosed, we both had long days. You especially. You've been up since 4 something. And we're knocking a podcast out here late at night to keep the content coming. So I don't have anything else. I'll wrap it up for this week's episode if you are, and unless you got anything else you wanted to touch on.
Man, the only other thing I wanted to add is go check out those new black hoodies. We got those blackout hoodies for sitting in your blinds. Those things are sweet if you haven't seen them yet.
Did you get yours yet?
Not yet, but I'm excited. I think I got to go check my packages, because I've got a couple other interesting items in the mail as well that we'll be sharing with everyone as well. So
yeah, go check your mail. I sent that a few days ago, so it should be up there any day now. But yeah, guys, and this will take us into closing, but we do have plenty of apparel designs on our store right now, and I think this is kind of a lot of people right now, but it's proven very difficult to get products, and mainly hats at the moment with the current state of things around here. So all that is to say, we have at least opened up our stuff for pre-orders, so you guys can go ahead and put your name on a hat, a shirt, or whatever we got coming. The blackout hoodies that Drew's talking about, they are in stock. We actually do have those in our hands, in inventory, ready to ship. They're pretty sweet. Honestly, I like the design, but then when I actually got one in my hand, I was like, this is freaking bad to the bone. It's a lightweight hoodie. It's like perfect for these early season sits. I know the weather keeps, is going to keep cooling off and getting colder, but those early season, bow season sits or ground blind sits, for those of us that hunt in ground blinds, man, it's perfect for it. And it's very comfortable, lightweight. I've been wearing the crap out of mine. I've worn it so much that it stunk. I had to wash it. My wife told me I had to. So pretty happy with it. But yeah, go check that out. We got the Blaze Orange rifle hat this year. That was actually by popular demand. We had a bunch of guys asking if we would do something like that. So we rolled that out, and those have been selling pretty good. But we still have a few left, so go ahead and pick one up if you want one. Still got those American Pride t-shirts too. By far our most popular t-shirt design that we've ever rolled out, but we still have some left in inventory. So go wear the red, white, and blue in the form of a Fall Obsession t-shirt, and you can get those at fallobsession.com. All of it you can get at fallobsession.com. So, and with that, we'll wrap the rest of it up. I know I already mentioned go check out our socials: Facebook, Instagram. We're on Twitter as well. Go subscribe to that YouTube channel. I feel like we've kind of ramped it up a little bit here recently. We got some more videos coming out multiple times a week. I know Nick and I still got a few in the editing room that we got to wrap up in between hunts as we can here. A couple more episodes of Texas Dirt, some other educational videos for you guys. We do have a video that I'm going to try to get out this week for y'all, which is our podcast, like I mentioned at the beginning, with Kelly Cato over his pronghorn hunt. That's also a video podcast, and we'll be dropping that video hopefully later this week for you guys. A really awesome conversation, and if you guys listen to it, you'll understand that being able to visualize some of the stuff that we talked about in that episode is beneficial. So go check that out. Fallobsession.com, that's our hub. That is our website and where all of our content can be found: video series, educational articles, gear reviews, wild game recipes. We have it all on there. Our apparel, as we already mentioned. So go over there and check us out. Our website recently, it's been a couple months now, but we kind of did a little overhaul on it. Drew and I got together and brainstormed some stuff and fixed it up for you guys. So a little bit more user-friendly for what we're trying to accomplish with hunting and outdoor media. And then in regards to our podcast, again, if you guys are a new podcast listener, thanks for joining us. Hit that follow and subscribe button on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. We're on all major podcast platforms, as well as our website and YouTube. And if you're an Apple Podcast listener, we ask that you please leave us a review and write a few words about what you enjoy about the podcast. That helps us in all those algorithms and ratings, and Drew knows more about that than me, but I'm told that helps. So
you nailed it.
Yeah, go leave us a review if you can. And then on fallobsession.com/podcast, that's not only the page where you can listen on our website, but there's also a form on there that you guys can fill out if you have any feedback. We take general feedback, topic suggestions, guest suggestions, constructive criticism, whatever you guys want to throw at us. We're happy to read it and learn about how we can make our podcast better. So go check us out on there and fill out that form if you're so inclined. So, Drew, did I miss anything?
No, I think you nailed it.
All right. I rambled on a little bit there, so hopefully that was enough. All right, man. Well, good luck to you. I know there's plenty of deer season left ahead of us, but hopefully some success in your future. You hunting tomorrow? Or
Tomorrow I am setting up stands for one of the local metro hunts.
Oh, cool.
Right here in the parks, and hoping to see some good deer movement with everything going on.
Awesome. Well, like I said, good luck to you, man. And guys, Drew, myself, and our other couple dozen staffers that we have across the country frequently, I mean, that's what we're sharing on our pages is content from all of us. So be sure you follow on social to keep up with us this fall hunting season, Fall Obsession crew. So, all right, Drew, thanks for jumping on here and ending your day with a podcast. And I'm sure it won't be long before we're back on here again. So,
yeah.
All right, guys, thank you all for listening, and we will be back with you all again next week for another Fall Obsession podcast episode. Be sure you tune in.